Thank you, my friends.
Okay. All right. So what we're going to do at this point is we're bringing on to the call a gentleman who I look at as a Renaissance individual. I've watched what he's done with Immunotech the last year or so. We became friends about a year ago. Got to know each other a little bit on one of our incentive trips. Um, Amongst other things, here's a little bit about him. He'll share a little bit more. First of all, his name is Dr. Ruben Restrepo. And Dr. Restrepo, amongst other things, is a distinguished teaching professor at the University of Texas, San Antonio. He is the coordinator of research also at that tremendous institution. He's a true Renaissance man. And he came into Immunotech kind of because of the product, like a lot of us did, whether you're in the medical profession like Dr. Alvarez or Dr. Klaus or some of the other doctors on the phone, or the nurses on the phone, or medical professionals on the phone, or you're like myself or Keith Hooper, you were somebody that was just seeking better health for yourself or a family member. He came in for those reasons, and I had the privilege of interviewing him a short time ago on my podcast, which most of you are familiar with, Leaving Nothing to Chance. And I'm going to ask him a few questions from that show because I think they'll help all of us to advance our business. So, Doctor, first of all, welcome to the call, my friend.
Hey, thank you, John. Thank you. Hi, everyone.
And Doctor, let's just start at the top, a little bit further on your medical education that you shared with me earlier.
So I was raised and born and trained in Colombia, South America. I came to the States about 34 years ago with the intention of learning how to speak English and going back to do my practice. And here I am, 34 years later. So once I get into English, then at Georgia State, I had a chance to train in pediatric ICU respiratory therapist. That's where I am. So I trained in respiratory therapy. I worked in the pediatric ICU. Soon after that, I got involved into academics. I was invited by Georgia State University to become an assistant professor, a clinical instructor. That's how I started my academic career. 19 years ago, I got a call from San Antonio, the UT, University of Texas Science Center, San Antonio. And I've been here, so I'm already a full professor with tenure. I'm a coordinator of research, and I teach in the respiratory care program and also teach pulmonary and critical care fellows. That's kind of just in a nutshell what my career has been.
Now, all of that is a pretty good career, needless to say, right? We're all envious of somebody who's at that level of success. But he came into network marketing, and Doc, I'd like to ask you, what attracted you to network marketing?
I got to tell you that you platinums know how to do things. I was invited to this conference in LA this week. So Rafael Garcia Pelayo just invited me and said, well, I just Googled you and I found that you have a textbook. You have published about 60 papers. So I know you can tell me sincerely how you like this product. And so he invited me to LA. I had no intention of just a business idea. But I bumped into Jimmy Gutman. And I think he just opened my eyes to the reality that glutathione was not one of those words that I learned in medical school that I never had a chance to apply because there was an oncology related field, and woke up to basic science and telling me that glutathione was vital. And to me, it was just, again, kind of just an eye-opening. But then it came to be the product. And of course, you hear about natural products. And I gotta tell you, as a physician, of course, sometimes I tell that we don't even trust our shadows. So it was like, okay, just bring it to me. Just give it to me. And Jimmy Gutman was just amazing because he was just clearly showing not only how glutathione was useful, but then he moved into immunocal. And then he said, by the way, this is published here and here, and I got my PubMed, and I was like, it's not going to be there. And everything checked out, John. And I was extremely impressed. So he went from asthma to exercise-induced bronchospasm to lung cancer to this. It's like, well, I mean, this is a myriad of diseases. How could this be so good? It's just a basic product. It's a basic science, but I was very impressed. So I left the conference. I left Jimmy Gottman's presentation, and I called my wife. She's a healthcare provider as well, and I said, "This is phenomenal. We got to bring it. We got to bring this home." Then I stayed for the whole convention. I have to say that I listened to Marco Alvarez. I listened to many of the platinums. Yeah, the platform. I used to travel so much for medical conferences. I say, I have no time for this, but I'm bringing home the best product, and that's how I started. So I became just a good customer with excellent results very, very soon. I was extremely impressed. But yeah, I think it was shortly after that that I had a chance to recommend, very, very timid in regards to, what, you're asking me about health. I'm a doctor, but I'm in academics, but I've been taking this product and it works very well. All of a sudden, you end up with testimonials. And so the first step I did, I named my wife just guinea pig in regards to network marketing. I said, "Hey, so you work at this university. How would you like to stay home? I mean, this is a very cool project, helping people. This is backed by science, and just go ahead and stay home, and then there will be my chance." So that's how we honestly started. So we got back to the platinum and said, "You know what? We want to do the business." And surprise, surprise, for those of you who are not part of the business, he said, "Doc, you already are doing the business." I said, "What do you mean?" It's like, you're talking to people, you're being honest, you're telling your experience. That's the business. Compensation plan just comes after that. Just keep your interest in helping people, and money honestly will follow that trend. And that's really how it happened. So that's kind of just my idea of just ignoring the business part, but now just being heavily involved just a few months after that.
And interestingly enough, you used a very good descriptive on our earlier call about the fact that your income as a professor, full-fledged professor, tenure, all of that is at a certain level, which I'm sure is a very good level. But your income from Immunotech and from network marketing has now surpassed that. Is that correct?
So this is very interesting. We were talking about economics and how bad I could display the economics, but everyone could look at a figure that tells that I've been paid, let's say, six figures for just quite some time, but it's not that it's going up that crazy. So if you're blessed, you get a 3%, 4% increase. And as I move through my career and just becoming a full professor with tenure, and I see that I've been very well paid, and all of a sudden this little tiny little thing called network marketing just keeps creeping up and creeping up. And then as I move up, I can tell that the figures, you don't have to be a statistician to tell that something is trending up better than what you have done in the past, even again, being paid over $100,000 a year. So it is clear that for anyone who's studying, and I've been at Immunotech for 6.5 years. Yeah, clearly something is right, and not exactly that something is wrong. I mean, if you're making over $100,000 a year here, you're doing well. So it is not that it's wrong, is that there's something better. And that's what I think it became very clear that this is not only the right platform, but just the right company to be in.
And along that line, Doc, so you're making over 100,000 a year in your part-time side gig, side hustle business, which I absolutely love from a lot of different aspects. I love that story, but it just verifies again not how easy it is, because nothing is easy in business, but how doable it is if you have a game plan, you have the right strategy and tactics, you have obviously the right product with Immunical, the right compensation system with Immunotech. But let's talk a little bit about specifics now. Because you're really very part time at this, because you got a full schedule. I mean, and I realize what he does for those of us not in the medical field. He's educating doctors who are about to take their boards and all that sort of thing. Okay, they're well into their careers as young doctors, where Dr. Restrepo is educating them in those final stages before they're going to take their boards and go on to their careers. Very, very, huge step in those people's lives. So he's got a very, very part time that he's able to do this. So what he wisely did was he said, how can I economize my time for maximum profitability? and he started to study TikTok and some of the other social medias, but TikTok specifically. And Doc, I'd love you to pick the story up there and kind of what has transpired and some of the things that you shared with me
Yeah.
earlier.
And I think from not having or just having very little time, because just beyond what I do here at UT, I travel a lot for medical conferences. Just learned something that I was advised to do probably about 2 or 3 years ago. And I didn't listen because TikTok, my goodness, so TikTok. And all you see sometimes again, TikTok is just, I was just telling John that you do this, you do this, you do this, and then you have 1 million views. So I was like, you know what? No. Until my wife just made me realize, come on, I mean, honey, you can record yourself for 30 seconds. You've been given so many thousands of presentations internationally. How come you can just do a video? So I started with the obvious, just dancing with my wife and just playing a joke with my daughter. And but then I said, well, let me just do something serious about immunotech and immunocal. But I was always very generic, which is actually just very key. The more you hammer about immunocal, sometimes again you can distract a lot of people. But starting with health, I mean, it's how useful the immune system is, and then I just recorded myself for 30 seconds. I didn't do a lot of editing, to be honest with you. I just learned the hashtags were important, so yeah, just hashtags, and I didn't do a lot of editing. All of a sudden again, so my wife had her followers, and then all my followers just again, my just line just kept just creeping up, and she see what you're saying. I just created a monster. I said, thank you. I just thank my wife because then it became very popular. So I told in the program with John, I don't have 1 million viewers, but they keep me busy. I have probably about 10 calls every single day, and I gotta say, I mean, modestly can say, but I'm a closer, so I get a very good line of customers and consultants that I sign every month. And this is due to giving valuable information. It is not about impressing people with medical terms, but I try to impact in 30, 60, the most time that I mean, my average video is about 90 seconds. Remember the attention span of people. I can see with one of my videos, they abandoned the video at 8 seconds. Can you believe that? So that's always a challenge to make videos shorter and shorter. And I just realized that they want people like you and I talking just like this. Nothing sophisticated, just provide value. This is why you should improve your immune system because it helps you fight this, and repair cells. And if you want to fight cancer, you need a very strong immune system. I have tried, and if you honestly watch, I try to keep it very, very simple. People like that. And there's a very large demand for what we do and what we offer. So what better opportunity? So I do not have time for Instagram or Facebook, but I do devote just enough time. Maybe, and again, TikTok, devoting for videos. Yeah, I devote probably about 3 minutes a day. I spend about 30 minutes just answering comments. And then I just call those 10 people who want to know more about it. So it's been very good. It has served me very well. And this is only with over 30,000 followers. So for those who have 1 million followers, I don't know what you're doing, but should be doing immunotech then.
Well, the amazing part about that is for those of you that are new to the company, which most of you looking around are. I mean, some of you obviously been here a long time, like myself and Keith, but Doctor last year was #1 in overall production in the United States, our largest market, largest consumer market in the world, frankly, in network marketing. He was #1 in the entire company in terms of retail customer acquisition. So when he says he made, 6 figures last year, he did that very, very part-time and using technology and using, everything that he talked about. And he's not going to give, his entire everything that he does here, but for the most part, this has been done by technology using, some of the credibility, obviously, that he has. But this can happen for you in Immunotech. And here's the great news. Dr. Restrepo is not the only one that's doing this. Okay.